So this is what I call one of, my foundational principles of all things is she broke up with you. You think, what did you do to push her away? The answer is absolutely nothing. You are a great boyfriend, husband, most likely too nice, kind of boring. But that's not why she broke up, and no one will tell you or admit it. Some girls just want the freedom to fuck a lot of other men for a while. Nothing personal. She just wants to go on some sex adventures and sample a lot of new cock for a while. It happens more often than anyone is willing to admit. And I wrote this and I was reminded yesterday because a guy went out with a girl that he had met on like Hinge, and she straight up said, I wanted to find out what online dating was like. She said, I was super, what would you say, interested because my girlfriends were talking about it and I was married. So I divorced him so she could online date. And I think a lot of girls in this realm, especially if they got married young, like 18, 19, 20, and they, not all, I'm saying some, this is just a theory, that they wonder what they missed out on. Therefore, at about 10, 15, 20 years in, say once the kids get to high school or out, she's like, well, now I can go find out what I missed out on. In that first year or two after the divorce, they're writing rando dick as, like drinking from a hose, a fire hose. That's just what the reason they divorced in the first place. And the flip side is if they go, I got bored in my marriage. Well, you need to read through that. What it means is I wanted to have lots of sexual adventures. So just know that it's not that unusual. And these guys, they take the hit because they follow the blue pill conditioning. They do what their grandfather and their father did, which was get a solid job, provide, be a rock. Maybe, like I said, maybe somewhat boring, maybe too nice, nothing crazy, just, did his job, but wasn't exciting enough, wasn't, interesting enough, and didn't want her having sex with other men while they were married, which would be understandable. So she goes off on her sexual adventure, and it happens far more than most men or even women, especially, would be willing to admit. That's just the fact. They're like, whoa, what happened? Was he abusive? And no. Was he an alcoholic? No. I was just bored, which means, look at the other, what is not boring? Lots of sexual adventures. And so that's what you have to know. And it's uncomfortable, but it's a fact. And once you've been dealing with enough women and couples and breakups and dating and where people are coming from, it's more predominant than most people, and especially any conventional marriage counselors would ever admit, that this is a big driver for divorce and separation, is she wants to go on some sex adventures and sample a lot of new dick and replace the husband eventually. They don't want to do this for like 20 years like guys will. Guys will go out and that'll be their identity, is, fucking around. But women will do this for a time immediately. And that's why they divorce. They're bored. And then just, it's on for a couple of years. And like one of the guys in one of the comments, let me make sure I say this right. He said, she wants to find herself. There's many phrases for this. It's already been happening. You just didn't have the translation for what it really is. I need to find myself, discover myself. What is it? Live, love, pray. In fact, there was like a book where she traveled to Europe and basically just rode dick. And that's what you'll see a lot of, like solo travel or adult travel, is just a dick riding contest. And it's just the way it is. So these are the things you need to know. Will it come in handy? Maybe not, but it's always nice to be not caught unaware. Like when you're 45, the last kid's graduating from high school, and you get served divorce papers. but you're like, why? Well, the most likely answer, if you're not drinking and you are not abusive, is she wants to go on some sex adventures, and that's the real deal. And you could probably, it's not, is it recoverable? That's not my specialty because I don't know, can you create dread? Yes, that's one thing that you can do. Can dread save a marriage? Yes. Um, Again, but this is a driver. And most guys, when they get hit with it, they're in no shape to actually, get into recovery mode. You kind of have to catch it a little bit early on. Probably when the kid's like a sophomore or junior in high school, you can kind of start getting the feelers that she's like moving money or something's missing or spend more time with her mom. So just know she broke up with you and you think, what did you do to push her? Nothing. She wanted to go on some sex adventures, and there's not a whole lot you could have done other than instilling dread. And even then, sometimes they're already too far gone, and in their fantasy world, or their girlfriends have talked them out of being happily married, to actually recover. So it's ugly, but that's part of game, is the ugly truths about women, men, and how they work together.